Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the
Hello.
Roxy Shannon Show. I'm here. I'm going camera off so we don't kill the bandwidth.
You have to see my face instead.
Sing along, Shannon. Hey, everybody. Glad you're here with us tonight. This is our Thursday evening later show. Big E is in the house. Joey, Kent, Diane. Who else we got in here? Layla, I think.
Hi,
We
everyone.
got new faces in the crowd tonight. Welcome, everybody. Hello, Governor. Hello, Governor. How are you, my Governor? My lovely, lovely Governor. I didn't start out with a hello, Governor. Biggie was calling me on it. Hey, Mike. Hey, Don. We're gonna chit chat. Give it a second for a few to get in the room, and then we'll proceed on with our normal chit chat, which will kind of take us into where we're going. I'm sure and 6 other squirrel chasing adventures, side quest, and a rabbit hole, maybe. First, we have an announcement. Actually, we have 2 announcements. You wanna tell it, Shannon?
No,
No, I like that
I
deer in
want you
headlights
to do
look.
it.
Okay.
You can do it.
Well, first, our small thing is we got our first earnings report where there was actually a positive amount of money that was earned between Rumble, Twitch, all the different things. Want to guess what we earned, guys? Now you got to realize Shannon and I have been doing this together for about a year and a half now, and this is what we have earned 2 years independently on our channel. About a year and a half. We've been doing it a couple of years with Danny. Um, I would love for somebody to take a guess what we earned. Everybody, we're rich.
We're balling.
We
We're
are
so
balling. We got
balling.
bags and bags of money over here. Getting another bag. We earned last month. Let me give you a drum roll. 11 cents.
11 cents.
Hey, that's the first one we wrote. 20,000. I wish, Joey. No, 11 cents. But that is our first positive uh earnings ever, and I think that was off of Twitch, wasn't it? I think it was Twitch or Rumble, one or the other. We still ain't earned squat off of the tube.
To be
So if you're
honest,
not subscribed, subscribe. We can't earn until we have 500 subscribers,
yeah.
which we
To
don't
be
really care.
honest,
But
and she's the one who looks at all the numbers. She tells me, and I go, "Yay!" Because I look at them and I'm like,
yeah, the numbers don't make sense.
they're
And
just
now
there. They're there.
there's a lot of people that watch that are not um they don't log in, and they don't subscribe because they don't want to be tracked, and I don't blame them. Love you. Good night, honey. Grandbaby going to sleep.
But this may change with at least people seeing us and laughing with us and being in, mind blown and vibes with us, because
Big E says, could we buy a cherry tomato? We couldn't even buy the
not in
saran
California.
wrap that they would put the cherry tomato in to send it home from said grocery store. Like, it's the thing, though, guys. It's just a first for us, and a first of many that are coming. Because I'm telling you, when you shoot for the moon, you will end up amongst the stars, even if you miss. So, with that, we go into the second announcement. Shannon, you want to do the drum roll? She's doing the nail tap. We were invited last night, so on Tuesday nights, which won't affect a lot of you, depending on where you're watching it at right now. We will start broadcasting on another network as well, the Grassroots Warriors Network. We are now taking their Tuesday at 7:30 slot to broadcast our show to their audience. That's a biggie for me and Shannon. It is.
That means more people want to listen to us.
Well, and this all just kind of the me and Shannon thing, everybody, if you're new here, um we just kind of started out as 2 best friends who were couldn't stop talking about conspiracy theories. And we're like, because we did the show with Daniel. And they're like, we should start filming this. And then it just kind of snowballed from there. So now we do this 2 to 3 times a week. We we love it. It two best friends and all of our new friends.
I
Hey,
was like, goodbye.
we uh we sit around and puff pass and run down a rabbit hole with you guys, all of our besties out there sitting on your bean bags. So puff pass. Let's get her
And,
started, Thelma.
and today, just so you know, if my camera goes off, it's because I brought snacks. So I'm not hangry while talking with you guys today.
Shannon do be
And my
getting
coconut water.
in a literal coconut.
And a literal coconut. Sorry, I'm happy. It makes me
She's
happy.
happy. She's happy. I have a new mini fridge in the office full of Mountain Dews. And oh my gosh, I forgot to even tell you, Shannon, the ATM gave me money today. Extra money.
That's awesome.
And I looked at the dude, I'm like, dude, it gave me too much. He says, not my ATM, not my problem. No worries, dude, I'm out. It wasn't but $20. But hey, it was
Eh?
$20. 20
So
bucks is $20. Like I can puff
just
pass
like
all night for free at that rate. $20.
just like 11 cents is something.
Ain't it? $20.11 is our grand total earnings in 48 hours. We are rolling, girl. We are rolling. We could even go to Wendy's and get a kid's frosty for that. It's not milk though. We're not gonna go there. We're not gonna go there. Where are we gonna start? We're gonna start with Mall World or Fallen Angels.
I think Mall World.
Okay, well, how this came about today was I missed Shannon during the day because Shannon and I usually talk 2 or 3 hours. So today on my lunch hour, I was FaceTiming with Shannon. I sent her a video. I'm like, would you like to see the beige world I now sit in 9 hours a day? And I
Yeah.
showed her we have like cubicle walls up to separate offices. And it's just beige cubicle walls with beige walls and beige floor and beige desk. Everything's beige.
Yeah. It's Backrooms.
And she was like, oh, that's Backrooms. Now, this is not the first time I've worked on this property. This is the second time. I worked there 8 years ago. I was not awake 8 years ago. And you know how you walk in every day, you go to the same place and you never pay attention to what you're walking past. So I walk outside and I'm like, yeah, here's the rest of the building. And when Shannon said it, it was like this trigger went off, and it was almost like my eye went to twitching. She's like, "Girl, that's Mall World." I'm like, "You're right. This is my Mall World. This was the only mall we had in our town when I was a kid. So to me, this is my concept of what a mall would be." So,
And I had just like a couple of weeks prior decided I'm going to go into the Inland Center Mall. I grew up in the Inland Center Mall and the Carousel Mall. The Carousel Mall, though, which has been officially torn down in San Bernardino. I mean, San Bernardino. And anyway, that had like a literal like train in it. I mean, in a carousel. That's why they called it the Carousel Mall and a movie theater. Anyways, that's torn down. And so I got Inland Center Mall still, but you grow up in that. I was there like nonstop with my mom, and I go in there and it's still running. So there's still shops open and stuff, and there's still some people, but oh my God, it was like there were so many desolate, closed down shops, like nothing really looked the same. There was all these knockoff Asian
you
stores
know what?
in there. And I'm just like, what? And there's just a few people around and they're just like, oh, like nothing's wrong. And we're talking like 12, And then there's like a few people trying to talk to me to sell something. And I'm just like in deja. I'm just tripping. I'm like, this is not real. This can't be real. Am I awake? Am I awake? Yeah. And then I just kind of cried.
Well,
I was
see,
like,
when you
throw
made
up my
mention to
phone.
that, and I thought about it, I think about the stores I see in my version of Mall World when we go. And there's stores from when I would have went to this mall, because back then the only place we had that you could get music was Walmart or Kmart. Like, and neither one of them was no super Walmarts or no super K's or nothing. I mean, these was T90 stores that we had at the mall. So, in order to go to a music store, you had to drive 20 miles away to this outlet mall, and they had a FYE store in there. And that was one of the last stores that survived in that mall. But anyway, I'm working for a lending company. They've redone the mall. It's but the
Is
end we're on is not being remodeled. It's just like this empty, desolate mall. And all the storefronts are there and there's no stuff in it. So when I'm at work, oh my God, Shannon, I'm an innie and an outie.
see, I
Oh, when I'm
started
an innie, the
rewatching
mall
that
is
too.
empty.
The
Mm.
office space in that whole show is just so uncanny. It's
I'm an
so
innie.
uncanny.
I'm living in beige world. Outside is mall world. Inside the office is a back room. It's Severance. Oh my. I'm telling you, my office is so quiet, y'all. Like you drop a piece of paper and it sounds like an elephant tromping through the room. I work in like the most quiet office space. Imagine we have a whole strip mall and we're the only 6 people in it. It's like a ghost town in there and it's dead silent. And believe it or not, we're not but a mile from the airport.
What I'm saying, like, can you record stuff in there?
I'm gonna try. We're gonna go on a walkabout as soon as it cools down because the other side of the mall ain't air conditioned. And listen here, I'm not going traipsing around no mall in no 3-inch heels of sweating. No, no. I got to wear business casual
Oh
to
my
work.
gosh. Cash, I can't. He needs
They
his
took
clothes
Cash
back.
has been walking
He
around
needs
Mall
his
World
clothes back.
naked forever, and they won't give him his clothes back. I've tried to meet Cash in the food court, y'all, and I never find Cash because he would be naked. That's why he said we find him. He was naked in Mall World.
I haven't really. I've only been back there once or twice. I'm not really
I haven't
allowed
been there
back.
recently. Now, we've seen a lot of videos of a lot more people talking about it online, and I think it's a much more common subject than we all originally thought it was. And one girl, I sent Shannon a video last night. When I looked up the girl, she's really big into being able to render things she sees in her head into AI, description wise, to get
Hmm.
it to come out, close to what she actually sees. And that video I sent Shannon last night was one of them. So when you were seeing that, you were kind of like seeing into her mind in my world. And that's when the Minecraft thing come to me.
Hmm.
Like, what better way to get a whole group of kids zoned in on these headphones that have whatever micro frequency or radio waves, and they're all
Mhm.
sitting there playing this Minecraft where they're building a fake world out of blocks.
And Roblox too.
Yeah,
Hmm.
they're building fake worlds and living in them all day long on these games instead of participating in the real world.
Well, that's what I mean. That's why we've brought up so many times that, like, this was us that helped to build this, and this training ground, this matrix that they beckon our spirit to go to at night. And we help to build that in our memories and in our stuff and in training, but it helped them to understand how to build the metaverse and all these other constructs to train our kids through these devices, you know?
Well, and when you really think about the whole training thing, I got a couple of videos I need to find and send Shannon. One of them was a woman our age, and she was in Gate when she was younger, and when she got into her 20s, I don't know if she'd been in the military or whatever, but she applied for a government job, and it was going to require some security clearances. And in order to get those, she had to have all of her school records. And I've heard of a couple of people talking about this. Like they go back to find school records, and portion of their elementary school records are redacted. And this lady said, she said, luckily my mom was one of those people, who kept every report card and every picture, every art she ever done. Her mom had boxes of it. So when she found out that her school records, the copies in it, part of them had blacked out and redacted parts, her curiosity got the better of her. Now, these are elementary report cards, and the copies of them have been blacked out, like you was a Satan's hemorrhoid file, kind of blacked out. She showed pictures of
Hmm.
them. And so she goes to her mom's, and they find her old report cards. The things that were blacked out were the teacher's comments. And they were things like, very smart, always helpful, bright student, great potential, loves to read, the things
Right.
second grade teachers write on your report card. That's what they had redacted out were the positive comments and I guess you'd say their observation of her intelligence.
Huh. Interesting.
I know you're naked, Cash. We talked about how uncomfortable it makes you to be naked. But see, maybe it's not. Okay, this is one thing. Y'all know I love psychology. If if you're naked in mall world and it makes you feel embarrassed and uncomfortable, maybe it's because your mind knows that mall world is a construct and it makes you uncomfortable because you're not supposed to be there. So your body showing up as physically naked is how your mind feels. You feel naked and embarrassed or uncomfortable because you don't want to be there.
And also, something to think about, it might be something that's holding you to that space. Like while you keep going back, it's some kind of a, like you're not whole, or they're drawing you back constantly because you're so naked and exposed in this and vulnerable, and they want to keep you locked in. So you know what I'm saying?
Hmm. The
That's it. It's
trauma
a
factor of
thought.
it.
Tis a theory.
Tis a theory.
Tis a
We're all
theory.
about theories. Because Lord knows if you say it's anything more than a theory, you'll be strung up in front of a judge under oath. We were just watching a guy a while ago who's one of us. And he, wasn't. Anyway, he was under oath testifying for what he had reported on. We're not gonna bring that up at the moment. We'll have to share that video another time. But yeah, you gotta be careful. Everything's entertainment purposes only, everybody. Everybody governance, pass, pass, pass. Puff,
Hmm.
puff, pass. Yeah, you gotta be careful.
I feel like so much now, like right now, with so much going on, it is really, it's designed to trigger us like hard, like
Mm-hmm.
really, really getting at us in these generations here. You know what I mean? The Generation X and Xenial, even some of the millennials, the older ones.
Girl,
It,
they've even stopped calling tramp stamps tramp stamps. They're now called cake toppers because the new generation thinks they're cute. Cake toppers. I don't know. I'm like, y'all just need to stick with tramp stamp. It had its own
had a ring to it.
had a ring to it. Tramp stamp. Tramp stamp. I was trying to read Mike and Big E's over there talking about beavers building a dam and tearing down dams. Y'all on a whole different conversation. Y'all go right ahead. Have your conversation. That's what this is for. This is a gathering spot for people like us to be able to talk to each other and be okay that we say the big things out loud. But yeah, I'm noticing a high uptick in mall world content, like people, running across it and they're like, that's what that is. Backrooms, liminal spaces, and realizing that when they left their main classroom to go to the special class on Wednesdays, that they don't remember anything about it either. They remember the sensation of being heavy and sleepy.
There was one guy that I watched a video on, I think yesterday. I don't know if I sent it to you or not. But he was talking about like through the looking glass kind of thing with, you know, that they were using mirrors as portals when you took that drink. Like, just think
Stranger Things.
all Alice in Wonderland, too. Like, this is all you drink the pink drink and then you walk through the looking glass and all of this kind of stuff. And I thought, that's an interesting element that I don't think any of us had actually put in there, the use of mirrors and maybe
Well, we
even.
know there's a lot to mirrors because I'm telling you, we went through, we keep going through these phases, and all of a sudden, me, Shannon, and Clayton needed to start covering mirrors because we figured out that back in the 1800s, at sundown, mirrors were covered and stayed covered. And if somebody was dead and they were having to wait, they stayed covered, period. Like you didn't want your loved one's soul slipping off into the dark side. So they covered all the mirrors intentionally because they knew that was a gateway to the dark side.
When you put a couple of mirrors, uh, you know, uh, akin to each other, parallel, you'll notice that when you get the reflection upon the reflection upon the reflection, how it distorts and things. You'll see that things actually can be seen with the naked eye, not just taking a picture, in some of those reflections that you
I'm
see
still amazed
down
how you can
further.
put an object behind another object and look behind the paper in the mirror and the mirror still sees it. And
I
what
am
you're
not
looking at in a
sure
mirror is
if
not a
it's
true
true.
mirror either. Have
Mm-mm.
you ever seen the true mirrors?
I don't. Oh, the ones that actually,
Show
and
you
mirror it. I can't
reverse it.
reverse it. My
And you're
head,
actually
guys.
looking at yourself correctly and seeing yourself the way other people see you for the first time. Like everybody in the world has a different perception of who you are. There are no two yous that are the same because every person's experience with you is different. Even though you feel like you're the same person around your brother and your sister, you're not because there are jokes and experiences that you have experienced with each one independently, which has changed their perception or their feelings of you. Closeness or distance or laughs or hugs or jokes or whatever. But no two people in the world know the same you. And when I heard that, I was like, you know what? They ain't wrong. Because I got two girls, one biological and my sister's kid, she's like my daughter. The mom I am with one is different than the way I am with the other. And it's not that that there is no intention in that. It's just our relationship is different. We get along on different subjects because they're each different. So my version of me is different with each of them. I realized that recently when I took this job because when I left that job, I was wearing sweaters and pearls, and Jimmy Choo shoes. And when I showed back up, I was covered in tattoos. And she looked at me and she's like, "Oh, because they're Asian." She says, "You have tattoos now." I said, "Yep, just like a coloring book," and just went on about my business. Didn't even answer anymore. Just rolled on.
You work in Mall World and the back rooms. That's
Yep,
pretty wild.
yep.
That's
In dead
that's
silence.
something.
Now there's like 6 or 8 people in my office, and we're busy all day, and we don't talk. And so unless there's like a question you got to ask somebody else, you never hear anything. Everybody's got headphones on. If they're listening to music, our phone never rings because the sales team is outside and they answer most of the calls. So it's just like dead silence in a bland back room within mall world at the mall I went to as a teenager.
So,
It's a little freaky now that I think about all of that. That's a lot. Different personalities create. Yeah, Because I mean, I've got lots of girlfriends, and I've got some women that I have been friends with since I was a toddler, some since middle school, some I only met in high school, and some I've met as an adult. All of the people that each one of them met is different, even if it was just different stages of my life, because you have elementary school friends, middle school friends, high school friends, you know, first job friend, a friend that you met when you were at a different stage in your life, so you're a different person. As long as you're
Um,
true and honest, you're good.
I mean, I guess maybe saying a different person might be a little extreme.
Different
It's more like
personality.
you show different sides of yourself,
Yep.
you know, where you're comfortable, like where your level of comfort is with each person.
Yeah,
You
some
know,
people you're more timid, some you're full throttle.
and
But
sometimes you have to be like, professional mode. Sometimes, and this is just this world. That's how you conduct business. There's just all these facades, masks that we wear, but they are different aspects of us. So it's not like it's a completely different person, but I would agree that is definitely like reflections of you, and your experience mold how you are
you're
around
never
that
identical to
person.
two people about what's inside of you.
I need
Yeah,
to take a
there's
second. I gotta get a charger, guys.
she gonna die on us. Go
Phone.
ahead. There's a the true mirror. I've seen a lot of people look in the true mirror and it actually makes them so emotional that they cry. It's like they saw themselves for the first time. But I've actually had a couple of unique experiences with eye to eye contact, like intentional, purposeful eye to eye contact, forehead to forehead. Like, I'm talking about nose to nose on purpose and hold it for a few minutes. And it's different. If you do that intentionally, it's different. Um, I did it with my 10-year-old granddaughter, and the next day she started asking some of the wildest questions I had ever heard come out of a 10-year-old's mouth. Like all of a sudden, she had this thing where she wanted to know the complete anatomy of the human body and what the liver was and the kidneys were and what does it do. And so to break it down in 10-year-old terms, I broke it down in household appliances. Like, one's a dishwasher and one's a garbage disposal. And we were breaking it down like internal household appliances because she understood the operation of those. So I thought it would help her understand operate. But she's 10. She never asked a question. Then she wanted to know, like, how many layers of stuff are there between the outside and the inside, talking about getting to your bone. Like the skin, the dermis, the fat. Why do hairs grow? Where do they come from? Like crazy questions. And they kind of eased off after a while, and I haven't done the forehead to forehead thing with her again because that kind of like worked on her for a minute. And I've had someone to do that with me, and they're an adult, and we were goofing off, and did the forehead to forehead thing, looking eye to eye, and that was different. It was kind of, yeah, it was different. It There's something about it. You've always heard the saying that the window to the soul is in the eyes. So if that's true, and we know that our pineal gland is magnetic, because the more you open your pineal gland, the more magnetic it is directly like between your eyes, right above your nose, that almost cranial dent right there between and above your eyebrows. If you'll put a paper clip there or a bobby pin, it'll stay. Now, you don't have to worry about your face being, clean or oily or whatever. It'll stay. It's magnetic. And the harder you work on opening that pineal gland, the heavier an object you can hold there. But if you imagine in your brain that that spot is magnetic, magnetic means it can transmit electricity. So if you reach and go pineal gland to pineal gland with somebody else looking in their eyes, you're probably literally plugging into each other. The willingly ignorant have truly become useless idiots. Barks meows. Let me tell you something about the truly ignorant. Um, we're waiting on Shannon to get a charger. There she goes before we start on with the fallen angels. But the ignorance is one of my girls works at a motel. at the beach. And it's a very expensive motel. It's not somewhere I'd ever stay the night. You know, it's a resort. They've got restaurants and tiki bars and multiple pools and hot tubs and people coming down with their pineapple at 8 o'clock in the morning with liquor in it, wanting to know when the pool's opening up and getting to get a towel. Um, Donald Trump is flying into town here tomorrow on a campaign for somebody. I don't know. Don't care. I do know the airport's a half mile from my job and it's going to screw traffic up for the majority of the day, probably. Hopefully, he'll go the other way and stay away from my side of town. There are people at my daughter's resort that are supposed to check in tomorrow that have called, canceled their week long reservations because they don't want to be in the same place where Donald Trump is breathing air. They are forfeiting hundreds and sometimes $1,000 or more of deposits on these vacations because they're canceling within 48 hours just because he's going to be in town. That's just ignorant. Regardless of what you think of the man, whatever, he's flying in and he's going to speak at a convention center or somewhere for 15 minutes and you give up $1,000 because you don't want to breathe air that he's going to breathe. That was actually one of the comments, I do believe. That was crazy. Crazy,
Pretty
crazy.
sure we all breathe the same air.
Yep. Don't matter whether um the orange man is close by or not. It's not going to change the air you breathe. I can promise you, if they safe air to breathe, it's probably wherever he's at. He's probably got his own special oxygen that rolls around in Air Force One want him or something. At this point, I'd probably rather breathe
Probably.
the air he's drinking and drink the water. It's probably safer. Anyway, we're at 35 minutes. So before we move on to the next subject and get lost on two more squirrels chasing adventures, subscribe. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. Hit the thumbs up button. Like, bam. That's all you got to do. We appreciate it. We're trying to get to 500 on here. So if you're on YouTube, that is. If you're listening to it somewhere else, subscribe over there too. Bam. That's what we're looking for. All right. Fallen Angels. Anybody out there not read the Book of Enoch? Do we need to cover anything in Enoch for anybody? Most of our audience has been there. She's over there
It's best to
chewing.
recap. I mean,
Okay, well, if you missed the Book of Enoch, there's free copies of it you can download to read. It's in the Ethiopian Bible. It is the one book of the Bible that I think is most important for you to start with if you are a awakening baby. And we'll leave it in the baby stage. We figured out in this awakening process, we are all in the same book. We're just in different chapters. Some are ahead of others. Some have read ahead and picked up chapter 27 and went back and got, 12. That's just the way it works. You've not read Enoch, Miss K. Well, you need to go read Enoch. And if you don't have a copy of it, you can go online to our reputable YouTube channel. And most time there's somebody on there who has done a video of reading Enoch.
I will put in a disclaimer. There are 3 books of Enoch. The first book of Enoch is probably the most, I would say, the OG, the original Enoch account, if you were to ask me. And the other 2 do tend to go a little bit more down the Kabbalistic train on some levels, but it's always good to, get the whole gamut of the situation, reading them all, and asking for discernment through the Holy Spirit. But the first one I can at least vet in that way that I do believe that's the original telling, the closest to the original version that we're going to get.
One of the reasons they removed it, hid it, you never really heard about it, was because of all the supernatural things in it. They didn't want you to believe anything that was in that supernatural book. Because that book talks about angels, demons, monsters, giants, all these supernatural things. They didn't want you to believe in that. They didn't want you to believe that any of that was true. And if you read these books and you go back and take that book and put it in context with the other books, the story changes. Hey, Leslie. The story changes from what we were told as children growing up. Because when you go back and you put all these pieces together, there's no way that all this doesn't work. And I'm gonna start with this. China put out an announcement sometime last week to their citizens that if they encountered or interacted with any alien species, to please contact the United Nations before conversing with these entities. The United Nations. It's what China broadcast to its citizens. Um, and I got that from somebody who has people in that country. That is secondhand knowledge of that actually happening. That's not a TikTok video.
What is interesting too is, it has been said that New York City is the capital of the world. And that would be correct because it is the UN. That is the United Nations officially, officially. Just
Officially,
throwing it out
officially.
there. Officially, officially.
Well, there's a lot of pieces that go with this because in Enoch it tells you that when Satan fell, he took a third of the stars or angels with him when he fell. So one third plus him. So, and it tells you there were 200 watchers that fell, which means that 200 is one third of 600. And he is 601. Satan was. So 200 fell to earth, which is exactly a third, which is 0.33. There you go, Big E. There's your number. Um, so 0.33. There are exactly 200 craters on this earth where they are impact craters. There's no debris. It's just a crater. And these things are humongous. So, it tells us in the Bible that 200 angels fell. There's 200 craters on earth. It says they fell to Mount Hermon. Shannon's mic'd off. The latitude
I'm here.
is,
I just don't want to be annoying with chewing sounds.
the latitude of Mount Hermon, ma'am?
33.
The longitude of Mount Hermon, ma'am?
33.
So at Mount Hermon, where it tells you that 200 watcher angels fell, one third, 0.33, of the angels fell to 33 degrees latitude, 33 degrees longitude, on the mountain, which actually exists. We can pull it up on a map and look at it right now. Mount Hermon. The UN has a base there. The UN.
Hmm.
There's also a building there that's shaped like a pyramid that has a large table inside of it. How many seats are there around that table, I wonder? There would be exactly 200 seats sitting around a round table in a pyramid on Mount Hermon, 33, 33, one third, which was 200. That's a whole lot of math that be mathing.
Isn't
What
it
is
great
the
when math is
math, and it makes
maths?
me happy? I'm a spreadsheet girl. I feel a spreadsheet coming on.
Feel a spreadsheet
Puff,
coming
puff,
on.
pass, everybody. But that's too much. And we know the fascination with 33. They love 33. 33-degree Masons. 33 this, 33 that. That's their favorite because one third of the stars, watchers, fell to Earth, which is 0.33. Satan was, okay, when you 0.33 plus 0.33 plus 0.33 is 0.99. You get 99. You add one to it, you got a whole 601. Does that math for you? Yes, the Hollywood Walk of Fame has 200 stars on it. They started out with 186. There is a connection. Mike, you were dead on the money. You got to remember in your mind that these people fail. I say people, these entities, these watchers, demons, whatever you want to call them, because they went with Satan. They went against God. That's why they failed. They sinned. They're not good people. They not good people. Um, they they can't leave. They're here, and their goal is to take as many humans as they can to hell with them when we get to the end of the book. We're coming to the end of the book. If you can't see the prophecy unfolding around you, we're coming toward the end of the book. You better get prayed up. You better get right. You better get your shit together because it's about to hit the fan.
Well,
That's
and
just,
one of the things too that they were covering up with hiding Enoch from us was the fact that there was interbreeding and
oh
that
yeah.
this still exists here today. These bloodlines that they obsess over
Well,
that
you got,
have ruled over us forever.
well, think about, folks, think about science fiction movies that we have watched. These concepts, and I say science fiction, superhero, all these, the Hollywood crap. When you look at, they're putting it right in front of your face. That's part of the thing. They got to tell you so that it's free will that you go along with it. That's why they condition and program you with stuff like MK and Gate, all that. It's all tied together. It's all one big plan. Like if you take a cork board and put all these strings up there, it's just going to turn into a spider web. It's all connected. I Stare at Goats is connected to Stranger Things, which is connected to Montauk, which is connected to Gate and Gateway. And then you got Gate and Gateway, and then you got Backrooms, and then you got Mall World, and you got Astral Projection. See, it's all connected. One thing leads right into another. The deception was that these angels, when they fell, mated with women and had hybrid children, which were monsters. The women are cursed. The offspring of these things, they're going to protect their offspring. They're angels. They come down here and gave away power so that they could be gods on earth because they went against our father. So when they come down here, they wanted to absorb as much juice as they could.
Let's put it this way, right? The women who ended up accepting, not like they were forced into it, they were gung ho all for it, breeding with these fallen angels, and they were turned into what we would know today as a mermaid or a siren or even maybe a banshee. And
Starbucks star sluts, people.
that's
Look at the cup.
exactly where I was going. See, we're our brains, I'm telling you.
Look at the
But
cup.
when you realize that this is like these Starbucks are, or my favorite term, star sluts, are all over the place and get people addicted to their stuff, which most of it isn't even actual coffee. It's just sugar and chemical flavoring and
Overpriced junk.
overpriced terrible stuff. But you're actually giving your homage. You're giving tithing to the Dagon gods when you do that. And they're showing you through the symbology on their branding what they
Who they
worship
are.
and who they are. But that's what you're actually tithing for. Look, I know that we all end up every once in a blue moon having to get forced into a Starbucks coffee when you're desperate or something. I'm
No.
not talking about those moments of like, I guess that's if that's all that's around, but those who ritualistically go to their Starbucks every day. And I know we are none of us are perfect. We all have our problems. I pay my homage apparently to, the Red Bull gods. This is something I'm trying to get away
Watermelon, if you
from.
please. Watermelon, if you
Right?
please.
Like But we have to admit to ourselves that, you know, when they're using this branding, these symbols, and they're getting you into the addiction of these things, and you're constantly giving your money to them, and they're showing you right there, like, hey, this
You're
is the
tithing to
god
their
we
God.
worship. You're tithing to their god, and then consuming the offerings, and it becomes
The
a
burnt
ritual
offerings at that.
habit. It becomes a ritual habit.
Burnt offerings. Sacrifice.
Which is Holocaust. That's what
Yep.
Holocaust means. So, these are the things that I know. It's so hard. We live in this world, and sometimes you just need a freaking whatever, and that's all that's there. But I mean, there are things like McDonald's and stuff. I mean, I haven't touched that since I was 15, except for an absolute desperation. I got a coffee at 3 in the morning driving to my dad as he's dying. Like, there's moments of desperation, and again, we all have our addictions to these things, but these are things I tell myself all the time. Like, I'm not telling anybody anything that I don't get on myself about,
Well,
you
I have
know.
now figured out how to settle that golden arch conversation here at work. Because everybody's like, hey, what you want for lunch? I'm going somewhere. You want me to get you blah, blah, blah. Y'all know I'm not big on fast food. I ain't eating nothing from any of them places. And I didn't want anything because they was going to the Golden Arches. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I brought something. I'd rather eat cheese crackers than to eat. No, I'm not eating. Like, we fasting. Oh, we got to talk about this too. Don't ever forget monatomic gold
Monoatomic gold,
and
yes.
copper. Those two things. Um, I don't want to get scrolled off and completely forget them because those are big. I found out something today. Y'all know, like, I got three things going at work, so I've now figured out how to do my job and do research and get the stuff ready in the studio all at the same time. But anyway,
Mhm.
I got multiple things going. Even got a laptop on the side over there doing stuff. Okay, where
Nice.
was I at? Oh, I lost it.
Oh no. We were talking about the fast food
Oh,
and
I had,
McDonald's.
they went and I was like, nah, I'm good. And come back and she's like, you don't want any of this? And I'm like, no. She's like, why not? And this is a coworker who I really like. She's in sales and she may be listening. If she is, hey girl, um, no, I'm not eating that. No. And I explained it. She kind of looked at me. I'm like, yeah, go do your research. Mm. Everybody, and I didn't have it handy the other day and I should have, the Rabbi Finkelstein, whatever you want to call him.
Hmm.
Um,
The interview.
Yeah, go listen to the interview and then figure out that McDonald's sells their meat from a company named All Beef Patty. So when they tell you it's an all beef patty, it is nothing representative of the contents of said meat. It's just the name of the company they get it from. That's like me selling gasoline at a company called Free Gas. You know what I mean? Like it's no, not happening. No, we eating cheese crackers.
I really needed to stop eating those apricots. I have an obsession, an absolute
You gonna cut the
love.
camera on so you stop eating?
Yes, I have an absolute love for dried apricots. I don't know what it is. Ever since I was a kid, I eat a whole tree worth of apricots. It's all right. It's good.
Well, we got squirreled. We were on Fallen Angels, but there was one more thing I want to say about them. The motto of the United Nations. There's 200 delegate nations in the United Nations organization that represents 200 countries, whatever. It's 200.33. They're telling you exactly who they are. Like, and at the foot of Mount Hermon was a stargate in stone with
Yeah.
sigils in a ring around it. Oh,
That took you where?
Monica Lewinsky's sister wife sent the military over there, scanned it, come and built one, and then my gosh, a rocket hit it a couple of days later, and it's gone.
Do you know where that goes to? What they actually call that Stargate?
Uh, we looked it up one time. I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure it's like, I can't remember the exact name, but it has something to do with Satan, or Satan's grotto, or
Yeah,
Satan's whatever. But it
basically
it,
like
it was
his
to the
rose garden.
abyss. Right, like the abyss. That's where this. I mean, like it's very specific. This particular Stargate area is straight to the abyss. Just which could have a lot to do with, like, I know that ancient Sumerian tablets talk about this, that there's an actual entrance and a mountain,
Oh yeah, and
like
that there's different depths
line
of
wise.
it. Different
Mm-hmm.
creatures live at different depths and different levels of
Mm-hmm.
depravity and things of that nature. And the
And so,
monatomic gold and the copper still ties back into the fallen angels.
yes, it does.
Um, Monatomic gold is a white powder. There's two kinds of gold. There's yellow gold, like you get in jewelry or a bar, and there's monatomic gold, which is a white powder. Monatomic, single atom. At a certain temperature, it will disappear. Like disappear from sight when it's heated off of a plate or a beaker or whatever you're heating it on. And when it cools down, it will reappear. They used to eat this stuff.
Fun fact, actually, it was very rich in the soil in Israel. It
Imagine
still
that.
is, by the way. And you hear of the stories of how the Israelites were able to just take down all of these armies of giants and
Yep.
monstrous beings, and they're like there's 200 of them and like 1,000 plus of them, or and how they're just able to like tear through it. Well, the vegetation that grew there because of this monoatomic gold being so rich in the soil is naturally just infused in throughout these plants, and they're massive. I mean, the produce that used to be produced out there and back then, from what I understand, is like nothing today. I mean, the size and the quality and everything, but it actually had been known to almost give them like super strength, like superhuman powers to be able to defeat things. And of course, faith is like the main driving force, but you know, they with all the research they have done on this, that they believe that the fact that the soil was so rich with this monoatomic gold and it's infused into the produce at the time, that it really helped to beef up soldiers.
Well, in the Bible, people were told to go fast and pray and take manna with them. Would you like to know what manna is? Monoatomic gold. It causes your brain to fire 10,000 times more efficiently than it does right this second. You gain superpowers. You can communicate with people on the other side of the world telepathically without even trying. Imagine why they haven't told us about that, folks.
Now, again, here's a disclaimer, because coming from the new age stuff, there is a massive what's the word, obsession over monoatomic golds and the consumption of it. Now, is it good for you to consume this stuff? you
Very
know
small doses,
Very small
very
doses,
rarely.
very it's not like, it's not infused. It's like a straight up, you know what I mean, I'm having a hard time with my words. um it's an extraction, you know it's like the pure deal. If it's infused in throughout your plants as they're growing, that's the right amount. That's something that's consumable, that you know, in a natural sense. But you start messing around with this stuff, and again, they used it for ritualistic purposes, meditation,
Listen, you can
all of
have
those
just
kinds
as
of
many
things.
problems with this stuff as you do that other white powdery substance.
Right. So
Like
I
it causes dopamine and serotonin to kick off when all of this is happening.
right.
You can become schmucked up from it.
And now again,
Goldschlager.
do I think that at some point we find ways to maybe infuse our homegrown stuff with it? Maybe, because that
Mm,
would be a much more natural way of consumption and something that's a natural God-given thing. But in all of those kinds of things, all of these things need to be taken for what they are, because you're dealing with a very powerful spiritual substance
there
that
is not a lot of medical information readily available. Not that we trust a
right.
lot of it, but there's not a lot of research been done.
Well, and two, a lot of the information out there is fueled very heavily through the new age stuff. So they're hardcore encouraging the use of this in ritualistic purposes that don't seem like it's ritualistic, but it is very much so. So
Oh
that's
yeah,
why. So it's like when you do your research, because we always say it's important to do your own research, but take that in with a bit of a grain of salt. And when you're looking into it, just know where your source is coming from and the purpose behind why they're promoting it. That's kind of my little disclaimer of
absolutely.
the
Be
day.
safe.
Be safe.
Don't do nothing we wouldn't do, and if you do, don't name it after us. Just saying.
There is a fine line. It is very, very, very clear in scripture that we are not to be messing around with the things that the fallen angels had been teaching us. I mean, that's part of why they got in such big trouble, aside from creating their own offspring, is that they taught us these things that weren't meant for us. They're very much so real. They are of God, but God knows how to use that, not us. We're 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 just flesh suits, man. We're spiritual beings, but we don't have the capacity in this flesh suit to take on the power of God like that. And they were teaching us things that we should never have touched. And so it explicitly tells you in scripture not to mess around with pharmakia, that's sorcery, witchcraft and all kinds of different means. But there's a fine line, because there are these things, these elements that God put on this earth for us to heal and to be healthy and to keep us going, when bad things happen. And those things are meant for us naturally, and to use and to be healthy and more close to God. Fasting is the most important, but putting in things in your body as much as you can that are at least whole food, natural, that's not messed with, is always important. And these things, when that we've been lacking because they've been poisoning us for God knows how long through many
Ever.
different means. Yes, replacing these things are good. Doing research on how to take care of our God-given bodies so we can keep going and spreading the gospel is important. But I say this because there is that fine line. And when scripture tells you not to mess with it, there's a reason. And a lot of these things can be very well misused if you're seeking out, uh, t- to be a powerful and utilize things not in the authority of Jesus Christ, but in your own authority through substance. Okay.
Transhuman agreed
I
square.
I had to I was on
No,
a
girl,
soapbox.
you
It's
dead on the
okay.
money. Dead on the money.
It's just because in my experience, I went through these avenues myself. This is from experience. I am not coming out here telling you guys anything that I am not experienced myself and have gone through and have made those mistakes myself. And I know how easy it is to misinterpret how to utilize something that was meant for God-given purposes but could be used outside of that. And so I just always have to make sure that you all get that disclaimer from me because of my experience and knowing how much misinformation out there is in the push of these things because they are important. They are special, but ooh, could they be misused, guys? That's all.
No. And then, I mean, go look it up. Just look up the chemical structure of it and what it is and what it's capable of. Sorry.
I
And
think it would be amazing to put it in your plants, like to put it in the soil and to
well,
rebuild.
I don't know how that chemical reacts. I don't know how it binds or what you can put it in. Can you put it in metal? Could you put it in, fabric? What could you do with it? What in a military aspect? What could you do with something like that that disappears when you get it hot? And as soon as it cools back down, it's visible. I mean, just a thought. That's one of them squirrel chases I'm over there on, and it's on like tab 279B, like 12 rows down, is monatomic gold, and we're going to investigate that one day when we got 12 minutes.
Well, it's okay. So I have an interesting story that goes along with this monoatomic gold thing. I used to talk to this Nigerian prince. He's a very interesting person. He's really into music and he wanted to work with me on
Did he try
music.
to send you a check for $10,000?
No. Nobody introduced me to his producer slash manager, who was kind of a trip. I don't know. He was whatever. I mean, we just talked a lot. And he was aware of his bloodline and his capabilities. And he was also very aware that the monoatomic gold was very good for enhancing those capabilities that he already had in his bloodline. And he was really trying to get me like into it. And it's not that I, again, didn't want to have some kind of ability to find a way to integrate it into my life, I guess, but I wanted to find out in what way it was natural and what way it was better, kind of how I was talking about. And this guy, I mean, he'd be talking on the phone and he'd, take some and then he'd be like, all right, I got to get off because I'm going to go do my workout. And
Like
then,
he's all
I mean, he's
jacked
just
up.
like, yeah, I mean, he was like super serious about it, but he specifically told me that it was because of what he already had in his bloodline that it was enhancing it. And it was something that not only did he want to do, but it was something that was given to him on a daily basis. Like, you are taking this, Prince Sir, whether but he was real jacked up into it. Anyways, I just thought it was kind of fascinating because, in conversation, he express. I mean, I'm not gonna, because I don't know if he'll ever see this or have anything to do with that, but still don't want to air out any personal things. But he had some capabilities in his bloodline that, with this substance, enhanced it exponentially. And so, yeah, this is all I can say. Especially a lot of us who don't really know enough about, like, say, if you're RH negative or you got some
There you go.
interesting
Look,
bloodline anomalies.
you tripped right into copper. Yep, you did. You just tripped right into copper. I haven't even discussed this with Shannon. Y'all know I'm RH negative, so I'm always down the rabbit hole of where did we come from, why are we here, and why are we different. My bloodline is Basque and basically Ireland Scottish with a touch of Viking in there. And there's a couple of sprinkles of other things. But um one thing about RH negative blood is it tends to be more of a copper based blood than an iron based blood, which will also give you, because see there's got to be chemical reactions within your human body for things to happen the way they're supposed to happen. Whether it's estrogen, testosterone, oxygen, nitrogen, all of those chemical reactions are happening. You're like this little nuclear reactor battery all within a meat suit. Well, if RH negatives are copper based and we tear through magnesium and potassium, if you get blood work done, it's going to be on the low side of the scale, if not below their normal. And when you're when you're a female and you're RH negative and you're going through your cycle, you become anemic for a week because you're already iron deficient because you're copper based. Anyway,
It's
I know
true.
this is all about a D antigen on a red blood cell, which carries oxygen. I've been down all those rabbit holes, and I still can't come to any termination because don't give me the caveman crap because there was no caveman on the ark with Noah. They was walking, talking, drinking wine, like they built a boat. There was no cavemen on the ark. Anyway, we had to come from Noah, other than what might have survived that flood. And we don't have any true records of anybody. Anyway, copper based blood. I decided to find out what other creatures on this earth have a copper based blood and what is the difference in the mechanical and chemical combustion within that copper based blood versus an iron based blood. Shannon, would you like to take one stab in the dark as to what the creature is, the biggest one, that has copper based blood because of the way it transfers oxygen?
The
The last
biggest.
house.
Oh, so like a
Octopus.
squid or an octopus.
Hmm. Ocean
Interesting.
dwelling creatures
Mm,
have copper based blood
mm.
because they're cold blooded, and RH negative humans are colder blooded than RH positive.
Interesting. I
Mm-hmm.
I had something. I had something. It's all right. It'll come to me.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
There's a few faring sea creatures that have the same copper heavy blood, and it's the way that it transfers things within a cold blooded animal's body. I don't know about whales. I was down this rabbit hole a while ago, Diana, before I got on the phone texting with you. Me and Diana was out there looking at the moon and the star because Diana's a few hours north of me. So when I see something in the sky, I be texting Diana. I'm like, "Hey, girl, you see what I see? Or am I crazy?" And and whoever lives in Diana's neighborhood, y'all need to pay attention because if one of y'all come around that corner and hit her out there in the yard filming, Mister Escalade, I don't know who you was, but I'm gonna come up there and I'm a kneecap you. Just saying, just saying.
Now, I got a question for you all,
Gerald the
or something for
dolphin
you to
or dolphins.
share. Yeah,
Now we're opening a browser. We're looking.
but I have a question to pose to you guys. We often talk about how we feel alone a lot, and a little outcasted from the society and the world. And when we're on these trains and we're trying to figure out like our genetics and things about truth and the fallen angels, and like, I don't know about you, but I know when it comes to me, there's this part of me that goes, oh no, am I really part of this, of this abomination that happened before the flood? Like, do I really have this in me? And a part of me, for a minute wants to be sad and lost with it. And then I am reminded that Jesus Christ sacrificed and gave his life and came and rose from the dead for us, for all living creatures. He was grafting all of us in the olive tree. You know what I mean? So I just thought it was important to kind of bring that up because I know it affects me and it bothers me sometimes. You know, sometimes I think, well, that's kind of cool. And then this is just me being honest. And I think it's something, why I'm posing this question for us all to be honest with ourselves with it. But, you know, there's just this part of me that is sad. Like, I wanted to be a pure blood. I mean, I'm sure all of us kind of wanted to to know that we weren't infiltrated by the crazy. But even if
Um,
we are, that is the one reassurance, the one thing that we know more than anything, that Jesus died for us. He took that on. He won already. He's grafted us in, whether we have that blood in us or not, whether we're part of all of that or not from birth, that we couldn't help because our spirit came into this flesh suit and whatever parents you and family you came from. And I don't know, it's just something that I think about and it affects me sometimes, but it's one of those things that reminding myself and all of us that Jesus took that and he wants to all of us to be saved, every living creature. So, yeah, it's
well, I got to
food for
say,
thought.
I'm a little disappointed with what I just read. I'm not related to Gerald the dolphin. Gerald the dolphin has iron-rich hemoglobin, which turns red when it binds with oxygen. Copper-based blood using hemocyan rather than hemoglobin is found in marine invertebrates like octopus, squid, and horseshoe crabs, which result in blue blood.
Right. And, that's what they used to use a lot. And as well as another blue blood creature from the ocean to dye the purple color, the purple or indigo color, which was why supposedly, only royals or people of a certain wealth status could
Okay.
afford those
Well, if
colors.
you have vertebrae, your hemoglobin. If you don't have vertebrae, your hemocyanin. So the bone makes the difference as to whether you're iron or copper,
Hmm.
which would mean that at some point an invertebrate bred with a vertebrate to be able to have a hybrid of an Rh negative. Wow. Wow. Jellyfish. I could be kin to jellyfish. Like, no, I know who I'm kin to. I'm kin to the damn kraken. That is my attitude. The kraken.
Release the Kraken. Never mind. I don't think anyone in this crowd knows that song nor who they're by, and I'm not gonna say it on this program.
Oh,
See
that you
the
just
title and it's
robotoed.
inappropriate. Huh?
You just went roboto.
Oh, come
Spiders.
on, Broomhilda. I wasn't even.
Spiders, mollusk, snails. Um, there's a whole critter list of copper heavy. And yeah, that's the purple blue bloods are copper based blood. That makes a whole lot of sense and a whole different thing. Ain't it? Release the Kraken. Piss me off after a hot flash, and they will release the Kraken around here. I'm telling you.
Does anybody else know that song?
No, I don't know that song. Joey, mermaids. I would assume a mermaid would fall into the category of Gerald the dolphin because if she truly does have a human upper body, she would have vertebrae. Now, fish are vertebrae because they got, ribs and a spine.
Well,
So,
just
no, no.
remember the fins separate. It's not the single one that everyone seems to think of in
Yeah,
all
she's
the
got two
pretty
tails.
drawings. It's more like the Star Sluts logo, that
Yeah.
brand that that we just talked about earlier, and she's got her fins all the way up here.
And both legs are split looking like a hoe on the corner.
And there's
Star
one
slut,
on every corner.
ain't it?
So
Oh my gosh, Starbucks is like prostitutes. There's one on every corner.
Star Slut.
Damn. Puff, puff, pass, everybody. Diana's telling everybody, coaching you up. Puff, puff, pass. We've already got into golden arches and star sluts before this show was over.
I have a habit of nicknaming all of these corporations. I much prefer
Poison.
my titles. But,
Poison. That's what we're gonna call them. You know how many chemicals are in them stupid flavorings
that
they squirt
girl
into them
is
drinks?
poison. Hey.
She's singing.
Bill
She's
Bib
singing.
DeVoe. Come on, man. That girl is poison.
I've had a man tell me that before.
And did he get the proper Italian backhand to the face?
He got a divorce. He got a divorce.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
I don't know about a backhand. He was like 6'1". I'm not backhanding him. I'm like 5'3". What am I gonna do? Hit him in his knee? No.
That's the one good thing about having my third leg around. That thing's got reach, if I just take
Diana,
it to, and yeah.
it would blow your mind to actually know the conversation that Shannon and I had pre-show, which we can't air because about 9 and the 2 1s. Shannon has some insight on that, but we can't air it because of proximity to people in our lives, and it may cause fallout, danger, or damage. So
Well,
there are a couple
I
of
have
subjects that we have to be careful on.
I have been out speaking about it before. What I will say is that I have a loved one of mine, very, very close, worked right in the depths of this the evil dark soul of Boeing. And I know that Netflix has just come out with a documentary about, what everyone knows about with some of with the whistleblowers and the planes falling apart, and that they can't get their stuff together to build a plane right, but just nobody, there's never any talk about pre, during, or post that falling tower situation when it comes to that company. And just a lot of shaking hands, a lot of power
Shenanigans.
up above that shouldn't have anything to do with anything. And it's just, it shows you that these companies, all like these big companies that shake hands together, they are above the law. They are above things
Girl,
because they've
I
been shaking hands,
I
you
worked at a
know?
company, and I'm not gonna name the company because I signed some paperwork there. I'm pretty sure it would have hopefully have expired by now, but we're gonna tiptoe around this real careful like.
Right.
We're gonna go around grandma's pond when we talking about this. Said company makes copy machines microchips, all kind of stuff like that. A lot of their stuff is shipped over to Taiwan. A lot of it was made south of the border, plants all over the U.S. There was one particular plant in the state above me. There were two ladies that worked in this whole plant. There was one machine in there that they claimed was from the 50s or 60s, and it made one particular chip that these two ladies sit around every day and just kept making this chip for a bird that's supposed to go to the moon, so to speak. And the people we pay our taxes to had a contract with this said copy machine company. And this chip, which this is the thing, okay? The math ain't mathing. You're telling me that it only goes on that type of craft, that we only send up supposedly, you know, what, 10 a year maybe in exploration, so they claim. So you can't need more than 100 chips. That's 10 breaks per aircraft. We're just going to say you don't need but 100. These ladies can produce 100 a day. So why are we keeping a whole plant open on a multi-million-dollar contract for these two old ladies to sit up there and make enough chips in 2 days, but yet they keep the plant open year round? Come on now, the math ain't mathing. And that's a blooming copier machine making some kind of microchip.
When you have to sign an NDA for
Yep.
your job, know that that company has backup plans for you
If you
when
break it.
things change.
This was also a company that I had to sign this to go into work, because when you're in an accounting field, you're not back there with the techs and the machines and stuff, but you're seeing all these different departments and what's coming in and what's going out and how many employees you got. I mean, you get a good overall sense of the business. And if bills need to be paid, just like, hey, I got a bill for this. Did we get it? You're talking to a lot of people. I signed one for that company, and I see you over there, Diana. Um, they wanted me to go south of the border to do some auditing down there. I specialize in forensic auditing. If somebody is cheating, stealing, or lying, they send me in as the human lie detector. I will find where you stole that damn money, put it in a 3-ring binder with highlights, tabs, and post-it notes, and call the police, because somebody going to jail when I get done. Like last company I worked for like that, the wife was stealing and she was having an affair with her own female secretary. And they got that man for $250,000 in a year, and he too dumb to see it. But anyway,
And this is my best friend. Just so you guys know.
when they wanted me to go south of the border to do said accounting, this process was going to be that they were going to take out 2 life insurance policies, each one worth $1 million, due to the safety risk, they said. One would go to the company for the loss of my future intellectual contribution to said company, and $1 million to my family. So the company I was working for was going to make $1 million if somebody swiped me up south of the border. This was a dangerous enough trip that I would be stayed in Texas at a hotel, picked up in an armored truck, taken across the border to a plant behind razor wire to work all day long and go back to our side of the border in an armored truck. And you gonna take $1 million policy out on me? I think not. I'm not stupid. I did not go. I lied. I forgive me, Jesus. I lied. I said my husband don't want me to go. He does. He says no. He's jealous. I can't go. Hell no. And y'all ain't even gonna give me no raise, no bump, no bonus, no nothing. I mean, you ain't even gonna buy me a Mountain Dew or pat me on the ass on the way out the door. You just expect me to get on an airplane to fly to Texas and go into Red Room territory, as Diana says. I'm not gonna be decapitated via chainsaw by the cartel. Do you know how big my mouth is? I would go down there and try to take over the cartel. I have hostile takeover in me all day, every day.
Well, say, right, like you are in these kinds of jobs and positions, but you are selected for specific top secret projects. There's other insurance policies that they have on you that's not just money. There's you just think of how they work Hollywood and all the elites. It's all the same in corporations, and especially these big deal ones. When you realize that Boeing, and I'm sticking with Boeing when I'm speaking on this because this is the one that has the documentary and I am very close into. When you realize that Boeing isn't just about planes, okay? They don't make their billions and billions of dollars on the manufacturing of planes. There
No, the
are not
commercial
that
planes
many
they make are
planes.
just a pretty bag they send the
No.
merchandise in.
What they really, really make their money off of is weapons of warfare. And it's not against an enemy, it's against their own people. There is actually what they call the space death ray laser off the coast of Australia. That is a Boeing creation. And you could see it, I think, on Google Earth. I haven't checked in a long time, but I mean, years ago when I found this out, I sure did check it. I mean, even Vice, the shill Vice team did a whole expose on
Hmm.
it. And so, it's these guys, like, they all shaking hands, man. They all above stuff. They don't
They all drag
bat an
queens.
eye if somebody's taken out because of whatever. You shouldn't have
They're all
opened your
drag queens.
mouth.
Beards. They're not even what they say they are. Nothing. It's just a front to keep the public happy with what they are. As long as they make some pretty airplanes and it's comfortable when you ride to grandma's house in Kentucky on that aeroplane that Bowen made, you just assume that they're just a regular aeronautic building planes, commercial wise. You know, that's it. Nah, they got a plant in Charleston, 2 hours south of my house. I've seen some of the stuff take off out of that hangar, and it ain't nothing none of us is ever gonna ride on.
No,
I'm
and
not riding on it.
that's the controversy that they will allow you to know and understand is that they were making shoddy planes that were falling apart.
That's
You
because they
know,
over there in Area 51 reverse engineering.
right? But that's just the thing. It's like they're really covering up for things. So then, therefore, too, the money that they're receiving, which is gobs and gobs of it, is obviously not going towards the manufacturing of actual
I
planes.
just thought about something. The best representation I can give to our people that they will understand. We've all watched Breaking Bad. We know what Walter White did up under the laundromat. That's exactly what they doing up under the laundromat.
Yeah.
They down there cooking, cracking mess. He was cooking mess.
And all kinds of
Yeah. Debauchery.
holographic.
See through.
Holographic.
Just a theory, you know. Entertainment purposes only.
Yeah, what she said.
Yeah, what I said. Because I said so. I love Breaking Bad too, Diana. But I mean, that's what Walter was down there doing up under the laundromat. Anything you see on the surface for a company like that, kind of like old Satan's hemorrhoid J.E., what he had over there, that ranch, that surface layer was just a Christmas wrapping on the present. The mayhem and chaos and debauchery and holocaust was actually happening below the surface, out of the human eye. And anybody out there who's never looked up DUMBs, DUMB, Deep Underground Military Base, dumb.
Look up Phil Schneider. I know a bunch of you guys already know Phil Schneider, but look up Phil Schneider. Phil Schneider.
Look at how many there are, how far they go down. They're like silos in the ground. They're so large. Racine, Wisconsin. There's a place out there that makes you shampoo. They got one.
One of the very first open, like they actually admitted built dumb, was at Norton Air Force Base in San Bernardino,
They've got
which
multiple dumps in Antarctica.
they admitted to actually like holding on to during the Nixon era, Kennedy and Nixon era, like all in between, holding on to the Roswell crash ship.
You
And
mean Hitler's airplane?
yeah, and actually it's funny too because Norton Air Force Base, even though they're not an official Air Force base anymore, and we know the UN owns them as an international airport in San Bernardino, but that's neither here nor there. They have a little museum all about their UFO stuff. It's fascinating, so fascinating. Yeah, they love it. They're all
Yeah.
up in the UFO. So dumb. But yeah, they're the very first admitted in public dumb facility underground, which
They're looking at.
ironically is my area's FEMA camp. If anything goes wrong, an earthquake or something, and we all have to be rounded up, it's there. It's there.
We got to get you moved in off the coast. We got to get you and Andy and the kids off the coast.
I feel like I already grew up at that base underground and many other
Diana,
things.
who
So,
thinks you're nuts, baby?
know,
You
no
tell
way.
them we are our own bag of mixed nuts over
Hey,
here. And if they don't
hey,
like it, you can tell them what they can do with your nuts. That's all I'm
I'm
saying.
like, welcome, welcome. We have a club now. It's called the Mixed Nuts Club.
5150. Grippy socks right here.
You are officially official.
That's right. You're officially official. Until somebody tells you you need a pair of grippy socks, you ain't right. Like, I ain't right, but I ain't all wrong neither. Is all I can say. I ain't never been all right, but I ain't never been all wrong. Mm-mm.
I still don't know what to say when they did try to take me away. They did, and
When
I
people ask me,
somehow
they're like, "Are
talked
you
them out of
crazy?"
it.
Absolutely. Hell
And
yes.
I somehow talked them out of it, guys. That
I
means
did.
Jesus is real.
Girl, I got a straight jacket for my beliefs at 13.
Jesus is real. He saved, he let me talk myself out of going into the institution, guys. That's pretty awesome. They were
The
just going to give me
institution I
more
was in
drugs.
had really kick butt breakfast, though. I
We'll
mean, like it.
see. In my case, though, they were just going to give me more drugs, and then I may still be in, hell right now.
Oh no, well that's why they
So,
put me in there because my mother assumed I was on drugs and I wasn't. This was just a normal me. I got accused of being on drugs when I wasn't.
that happens to me all the time.
People be like,
Yeah.
"Girl, you crazy?" Hell yeah, all day, every day if I'm lucky.
See,
Twice
though,
on Sundays.
I just get that you're special. Pat you on the head.
Yeah, you're
You
special.
know, like,
You
like,
really think
oh,
about that
okay,
stuff a lot. That's what I hear sometimes. I think you might think about that too much. No, the
oh,
problem is, Linda, you ain't thinking about this because the turd's about to fly through the fan. Is all I'm saying. You might want to
yeah,
get you a diaper.
yeah, that's all right. I'm too intense for everyone, apparently, even though I think I'm more spastic than intense. But sure.
I got tisms and ticks and don't even care. All right,
What?
guys. You splashing yourself in the eye?
I am. Apparently, it needed some copper infused water.
Ain't it, Diane? I get accused of being on drugs and I ain't on drugs because weed ain't a drug. It
I
ain't.
mean,
It's a plant. If you
half
just
the
so
time,
happen to set it on fire and be near it and you
half the
feel
time,
better, that's not a
if
drug.
we're accused of being on drugs, it's because we haven't smoked yet.
Everybody else is and we aren't. That's the thing. The ones that are awake, we're not on drugs, we're not drinking, we're
No.
just staying in our house and staying the hell away from people. And so we've got to be the crazy ones because we don't want to participate
Researching,
in this.
researching
Reading the Bible.
non-stop.
I had somebody call me a church lady the other day. I'm like, I'm okay with that. And they were laughing. They said, well, all I ever do is see you sitting on your porch reading your Bible. Ain't it? I'm sitting here waiting, son. I'm ready. I got my book in hand. I got my big church hat on if I need be. Because he's coming and I'm going to be ready when he gets here. Because I'm going to take that book he gave me and I'm going to beat whoever in the world about the head that needs to be beaten the head. And we're going to flip tables and tear crap off the hinges.
You're
I'm
so
ready.
excited to flip tables. I
I
love it.
am. I am,
Roxy for
girl. I
president.
am.
Roxy for president.
I want these dirty dog, no good for nothing, son of biscuit eaters. That's the nice way. Bless their heart. Bless their heart. Because Vice President. Anyway, Roxy for president. Shannon for my diplomatic VP to keep me calm.
And
We
to
gon'
throw
if
in
we
some
get to be
table stuff she
president,
does.
we gonna have to get like
Chocolate
Snoop Dogg. You
nonsense.
know, Snoop Dogg's got a roller. We gonna have to get a roller. Diana, can you roll? Are you going with us? Cause I'm gonna be busy. Somebody gonna have to roll. I can't roll and run the world.
We may need like some young 21-year-old kid to do it. Got stamina.
No, 21's too young. 21's too young. I prefer like late 30s, early 40s. You know, looks good in a t-shirt. I mean, if he's gonna be around, I at least want to look at him.
Well, it could be a female. I
It
mean, my
could.
gosh.
It could,
You
girl. It could
know,
be a fierce ass woman, but if
that's
she's fierce,
right.
I'm gonna need her doing other things, not rolling. Diana can roll. See, Diana's the roller. Diana, when I become president, you will be the official presidential doobie roller.
Okay, 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 okay. I got a question, and this
Yeah.
is also for you, Roxy.
Mm-hmm.
What is going on with this voting stuff with women, married women? Okay, so you cannot vote unless your name matches, on your driver's license or ID or passport to your birth certificate. So that means married women or anyone who was married and no longer but kept the last
No.
name.
If you have a voter registration card and the name on your voter registration card matches your photo identification, you vote. Now,
Not
if you
your birth certificate though, right?
no, your
Because
birth
this is
certificate's not gonna match.
because that's the thing is
Who said that?
there's a lot of discrepancy out there on what the fine print really is. And if actually married women or people anybody who has changed their name, because again, this isn't just about the
Listen,
border
in
hoppers, it's
Minneapolis,
also about the fact that they switched over the trans stuff, right? Too, like
no.
on their, I'm just asking because these are things that are being talked about quite a bit. And there are questions that I have because it would be very important to go through that fine print, which I know you're really good at, just to be sure.
Well, in Minneapolis, you can vouch for someone else to vote.
Because I just know there's a lot of changes about to be made, and I know how they love to use legalese in a lot of things. And from what I've come to find on research with people who is say and supposedly have gone through the fine print, it's not really looking so good for women. And so this is why I'm asking you specifically, or anyone in our sleuth audience, to look at some of this fine print. I am as well. I'm not just gonna tell you guys to do it. I'm also on this journey to figure it out. But, with a lot of the stuff that's coming out with other changes, um, when it comes to the education system, right? They are now trying to cut out education and switch it with labor. So they're like marrying them together or just kind of letting labor take over the education system. They've already done a lot in a lot of different states, and I'm not sure if it's gone through federally or not. I haven't kept up on that, so don't quote me. But I know that the child labor laws are starting to change, to get younger and younger workers. And my son, granted, he's in a continuation school, whatever, but they've changed things with ROP and electives and the way you are forced into now ROP
Shannon, you're in a
classes.
sovereign country over there, honey. Your everything in California is different than the rest of us.
Well, but
Newsom signs
this
his
is
paper in blue crayon. I mean,
Well, but here's the thing, though, right? This is why I'm saying is this like on a federal level, and even though I know that it varies state by state, they're on a federal level. When it comes to the education department, they are changing it over into a labor intensive thing. They're now creating more like vocational classes, less on studies and academics. It's more towards vocational things. And that's how they're changing the educational system coming
they
up.
need to,
And
in
as
my opinion.
well, but again, this fine print stuff is important. I mean, I agree in some aspects, but you know me, where's the agenda and why? When you see lithium mines popping up in our country and certain other things, that when other countries have had things like that pop up, they become more and more third world
I,
country. They get more and more child labor. These kinds of things, there's a lot of the things in the agendas that have been signed and
well,
written out.
I
So
don't
I'm
mean put them in
curious.
labor camps. I mean vocational schools. Once they reach middle school, okay, where I'm at, I'm in South Carolina. You can't do anything like it, what we call a vocational, to learn a skill or trade besides something that's taught in a book until you're in high school. We call them career centers or advanced technology,
Right.
something other.
Or we've had career centers, yeah.
I think that should be started in sixth grade because we've now learned that everything, the majority, we gonna estimate it at 88%, just to be cute. That 88% of everything they taught us about history, science, and hell, probably 20% of math was all a constructed lie to keep us contained within the Truman Show.
Oh, okay. Right. Like and I've been in that mindset for a very long time that it would be worth more for children, in a certain age to start learning more life skills.
Life skills, yes.
But
Balancing a checkbook,
this
changing
is
a tire.
Right, but this isn't what I'm talking about. So, what my son is going through right now, and what is happening in all these school districts right now, is like, okay, back when I was in school, you could take ROP classes and you could take them for your elective, but very few of them were actually during school hours. They were before or after. And it gave you school credits, but it also gave you training towards work. And they've had the ROP program for a long time. and it's been very beneficial. I went through it, but actually got to go on campus for cosmetology. But I graduated, cosmetology school the same year I graduated high school. So, I mean, these things have been around for a while, but it was a choice. It was something you signed up for because you were interested in that line of work and you knew that you were going in that thing. And now they're adding in into more electives. Okay, fine. But now it's become a thing where you are forced into these ROP classes as an elective, something you don't even care about or want or even need as something to graduate as a requirement. My son is taking a community health service ROP elective that he had nothing to do with, doesn't want anything to do with, and it's the weirdest ROP thing I've ever heard of. Like, if you're trying to go into nursing or the medical field, I totally get it. But why would you force them into a work related elective that has nothing to do with even the normal electives we've had forever, right? Shop, woodworking,
Oh no,
choir.
girl,
I
they
mean,
took
there's
all
like
that stuff away because it's
draw.
power
I
tools
know
and
they
sharp objects.
exactly right, but then they, of course, now they add in things like robotics and all that kind of stuff. Now all the kids are building robots. My kids actually were both
Oh,
in
you
that.
mean the one that the DOD is funding? If you
Mm-hmm,
don't know who's
exactly.
funding the robotics program at your schools, look into them. Any
Right.
special program in your school is probably, well, the government's fund the school. It's just what department of the government is backing the program that your kids are taking.
But my main question with this is, right, when they know we are going to be overrun and our jobs taken over by AI, what are they training? In what slavery sense are they training our kids for? Why are they changing the curriculum now and now adding labor as the main focus of the education?
Because there's not going to be a need for a lot of people that there used to be. Like a lot
But
of my jobs, a lot of the jobs I've always done before are now
then,
eliminated.
then why train them for this? This is why, none of this makes sense. It just doesn't make sense. Like,
Honey,
are
they ain't
we
nothing that ever
going
done
back
makes
into a time where we literally will have to worry about Handmaid's Tale, like becoming our reality?
as
Or are
loud as
we
women are
going,
getting.
or, I mean, why, why in the world, if we already are being told and know that we're going to have to be on universal income, and that there aren't going to be jobs for us and we're just going to be doing whatever at home, maybe on our whatever it is that they are going to pretend to have us do as we are actual batteries and whatever. Why are you focusing the training on labor now with kids? Why change the curriculum now?
There's a plan. There's a goal. I can promise you.
Well, right, but why? Like, it makes no. Someone help me to make sense with this, and what direction it is we are really going. Like, we really got to go through this fine print on all of this stuff. We already know. We already know that AI is what's running stuff. But what is this demonic force and game with the specific changes that are going down when it already knows that we are going to be stuck in its beast system that all this technology is taking care of for you, so you could just be stuck in your smart city. I mean,
Well, I heard somebody say something the other day, and we talk about the beast and the mark and things of that nature. It's all symbology. It's all words. It all has its entrancement of meaning. But if you're on a universal income system, everything will be bought to a market. A market. if you're on universal income. And if you're looking at that debt clock that we've seen with the secret window up there, when you go to the bottom left and you look at that USA reserve back dollar or whatever, it tells you what the contribution return would be to each US citizen. I think today's number was like it would be $87,000 per adult citizen is what they claim is owed back to us, and basically reparations for being robbed for the past 113 years since this banking cartel got installed. And that's where we were Tuesday night with the Titanic sinking and seeing who was on it and the people. It's all connected. Every single thing is connected. Everything's connected, folks. Those people here a long time ago, and I saw somebody put something together today I'd never thought of. We know that when all these buildings were founded, they were, and I know this is off subject, Shannon, but this is something we might want to look
Sure.
into. Like Chicago, they build the World Fair and then all of a sudden a fire happens, or there was a big fire and then the fair or whatever. But all these cities across the country just had these wildfires. You know why they had wildfires?
Mm.
Because everything around those buildings were grown up. They were taking those buildings back where they had been there and been abandoned. There was so much brush that they had to set it ablaze and burn it all down, and the only thing that stood were the stone buildings because they knew they wouldn't burn anyway. Burn it down, wash it off, and use it again. They found them in the woods.
Mm. Interesting.
I saw a guy
And
that came up with that idea, and when you think about it, and you think about like how things happened across this country, and then you look at the succession of the fires as far as what years they happen and where they happen, and it's almost like explorers are going across the country and finding things, and they just set the whole city on town to burn the brush down and take the city back.
well, I wonder if this has something to do, because there's always double purpose or double meaning or multiple purposes for things. But I mean, it's a typical thing for fire departments to be told to create controlled fires.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much while a fire is going off. We know about that. They show you all the time. They'll set a certain part on fire so it doesn't, and it's controlled, and they put it out, but they know that that area isn't going to be caught on fire to continue
It's a
the
stopgap.
flow of it. Well, these particular kinds of control fires are ones that are set for, like, when they're saying, well, this area is probably going to be very likely caught on fire if the wind blows and there's an ember somewhere. So they'll just burn it down and control it and be there to make sure that it burns and no one's hurt. Everything's
Mm-hmm.
safe. But, I'm sure that there are more purposes to that,
I'm sure.
you know.
And do to ignite the fires all at once in a linear fashion and viewed from satellite. You are right, Diana. As always, you are right, dear. All right, guys, we're coming up on 2 hours. I got to get myself up at the butt crack of dawn in the morning to go back to Beige World in my
Yeah,
back
but hey,
room.
it's Friday tomorrow.
Ain't it, girl? I get to wear blue jeans tomorrow. It's been a long time since I got excited about being able to wear blue jeans. Y'all, I've been upset. I've had to wear a bra all week. Like, I've been home for a long time. I hate a bra. I think it is the most horrible contraption any woman has ever had to wear in her life. And men, if you don't think that, I do beg you to put on a jock strap and walk around with it for 9 or 10 hours a day, every day, up under a pair of blue jeans and see how you like it. It's disgustingly horrible.
Let's just put it this way, okay, people? We all know us women. We have suffered greatly for many, many things for what it is, like the corset and the bra, all those things were designed by dudes. Big surprise, but that insertion device for women during that certain time was also designed by a male. is why I
Imagine that.
don't suggest
Uh,
those. Even still, it's not good. Don't do it.
we
'Cause
have a fun fact for
so
tonight, everybody. For all you women out there in menopause, this is our menopause fact of the night. I think we'll start a segment on that. Once a week we'll come up with a unique.
everybody listen up, because y'all know at least one of us out there.
Every time a female in this stage of life has a hot flash, she is having a literal stroke. She is having a micro stroke in her brain when she has a hot flash. It is like the uh, flash of lightning, so to speak, that is like millimicroseconds in length. And when it strikes the brain, it causes the heat, and the reaction that you have from it is what causes the hot flash. So, no, it's not hormones. You're not losing your mind. You're not crazy. Your brain is being struck by frigging lightning, and you're having a stroke from an electrical charge in your body. Diana, don't even be over there bragging. I would not be bragging about not having no hot flashes. Because listen, I
Yeah.
just took up for you a while ago, and I'm willing to go up there and kneecap your neighbor for not driving good in the neighborhood. And you want to go bragging that you ain't having no hot flashes like the rest of us. I'm over here wanting to peel this flesh suit off of my bones during the day, and she's over there bragging. I'm threatening to go beat up people in her neighborhood for being mean about her in the yard.
It's gonna be okay.
I love you, Diana.
It's
Tell your
gonna be
neighbor I love
okay.
him too. If he can't drive right around there, you tell him I know somebody, and she likes the mountains. She'll drive up here just to be mean to you. Don't mess with my Diana. That's my sky person. When I see something in the sky and I got questions, I be picking up the phone. Be like, Diana, can you see what I'm seeing? Cause I be seeing it, it's twinkling like real bright. What
See
was the
how
name of
it
that
is.
star we were looking at earlier, Diana? I can't remember the name of it. Started with an A.
See how it is, though, you guys. We got the good cop and the bad cop going here.
Shannon's gonna be over there, be like, just calm down. Just calm down. Everybody be nice. And I'll be like, no, girl, you better hand me my bat. Hand me my
Like I
bat and
said,
drive this minivan faster.
like I've said so many times, if you guys can't, if you have to get past me and go to her, you in trouble, man. You might as well just let it stop here. Okay?
Be nice.
I'm nice, but I have no problems unleashing the Betsy on you.
I
Okay?
am the nicest person you will ever meet. The name of the star, it was a super. Hang on, Diana. I'll look back at our message. We were talking about it earlier. That was a puff puff pass or two ago. And Terry's a super red giant. I guess that's how you pronounce it.
Oh
We were
no,
seeing planets and stars and everything or other. It was up there
one
twinkling.
one more disclaimer before we leave.
Mm-hmm.
I am nice, yes. But again, if any of you stalkers come show up at my house, you will then see the not nice Shannon, and it does exist. It takes a lot to get there, but no, cause I be packing, yo. Don't care if I live in
She got the
California.
blinky. She got the
So
blinky.
just so you know, you show up at my house
Just say no.
uninvited.
Just say no.
That's just then the not nice version comes
I will
out,
never
and
forget. I don't know if my daddy heard it on a movie or what, but I went to go out with a boy one time, and my daddy took a bullet and tossed it at him. And he says, "What's this for, sir?" He said, "That's to let you know the speed it comes at before 11 o'clock. After 11 o'clock, the speed and velocity will be greatly increased if my daughter's not home." That boy never come back and took me out again. Never. That boy act like I had the bubonic plague at high school next week. It's like, really? What my dad say to you?
he
Now y'all
must have
wonder where I
said
get
he
it
must
from.
have sensed something like not this kid.
I don't know. My dad was like, it was, I was young, and this is the first time like boys are coming to the house. And my dad made a point because my dad was out at the shop, which was on the backside of an acre of land. But when my dad sees this dude pull up in the truck, he come walking to the back porch, and I knew my dad was coming to meet him and talk to him. And it was best if I just stayed my badonkadonk right on up in the house and stay out his business. If I didn't want to get cussed out about being in his business. So I stayed my busy ass up in the house out of his business. And the guy told me like he still had the bullet when we got in his truck. And he's got it in his hand and he had this look. And I said, "What's that?" And he told me what my dad said. I just laughed. Like, dude, you don't even understand. My daddy didn't even own a gun that bullet would go in. He probably picked that up out of his pocket and wanted to see you shaking in your britches. My daddy didn't have nothing but a shotgun. He had this boy a bullet out of a pistol. I'm like, okay. But see, I knew he didn't have a pistol. That poor boy didn't. He was like 16. My daddy was just goofing with him. He ain't never come back and see me no more.
Well, what can you do? Good
What they
dad,
gonna
though.
do?
Good
All
dad.
right, guys, we're gonna get off here. I gotta go to bed.
All right. Good night. We love you,
Subscribe and
and
like.
Jesus loves you.
Yes. Subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Buy us a coffee if you want to. The link's down in the description. You can add to our 11 cent. Yes, you can. We love you. We shall see you Tuesday night on our big premiere of going live on another network as well.
And remember, the more you